from Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida. It's the second of 6 women's division qualifiers of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. And welcome to Seminole Lanes here in beautiful sunny Florida. You can't get any better than this outside. And we have a wonderful show for you today. I'm Earl Anthony. Alongside me, WIBC Hall of Famer Paula Carter. And Paula, Contour Power Grips, our #1 team, have been awesome this week.
They sure have, Earl, and all variables considered, they should be the team to beat, but in the Baker system, you never know, so it should be great matches.
It should be. All of our matches should be great, and in that opening match, Kinko Limited Contour Power Grips, who qualified second, will taking on American Strike Inc., and that should be a great match, too, the winner to go for the championship. We'll be right back.
To you by the Women's International Bowling Congress and the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. By Lynn Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn Shoes, the choice of top professionals and amateurs alike. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide.
And here we are at Seminole Lanes, ready for our opening match between the Kinko Limited Contour Power Grips team and, of course, American Strike Inc. And leading off for American Strike will be Janet Piesinski. Paula, what do you think? We're going to get some good scores today?
I don't know about the scores, Earl, but these girls are so competitive that it's going to be a good match no matter what, I think.
Well, the lane condition looks like it's pretty playable. It doesn't look real difficult. It looks like if you make good shots, you can score. And spare shooting, as usual, is probably the key, don't you think? Yes,
I talked to a couple of the girls earlier, and they said the ones that were here last year said the spares were a little tougher this year. So, but when you get in this environment and they're down to the nitty-gritty, 3, 2, 1, I mean, the concentration takes over.
Okay, cross lane at the 4-7. Good opening start for American Strike Inc. And now the first player in the lineup for Kinko Limited Contour Power Grips team is Barbara Batt.
Okay, she just came around the top of that one, it looked like, but for the first shot, she got a lucky break, knocking down the 10. So she has a 3-pin, which is extremely makeable.
Looks like she's kind of smiling and laughing it up with her teammates, kind of happy to get that first shot out of the way maybe and relax a little bit.
When you consider you only get a couple shots a game, plus you're under the lights, it's really pressure-packed situation.
Covered that quite well. Only the 3-pin. You can see kind of a look of relief maybe even to get that first frame over with. And here's a look at our Contour Power Grips starting lineup. As you can see, Piesinski is bowled, Laura Ross, Nikki Milligan, Marcia Kamrowski, and Kelli Rapp for American Strike Inc. Contour Power Grip starting lineup is brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. And the lineup for the starting lineup for the Contour Power Grips, Kinko Limited Contour Power Grips team, Barbara Batt, you've seen, Darlene Milton, April Costa, Sherry Johnson, Dede Davidson.
Some of them pretty familiar names, especially around Florida.
Oh, and a great opening shot there.
Yes, it was. And she's very aggressive. I bowled with her in a couple of tournaments, and most of the girls you see ending up in the finals are very aggressive bowlers. It's a perfect shot in the 1-3 pocket. That was a good shot by Nikki. I grew up with Nikki. She's a lot younger than I am, but I've known her since she was about 11, and I've watched her come up through the junior ranks and all the way to the WIBC, and it's really great because she's really been dedicated to the game. And she's probably under a little pressure right now because she's not used to this situation.
Well, only 25 years old, young, and this would be a good experience for her. Next time around, she'd be a little more relaxed. And missing the spare early on, if you're going to make a mistake, you probably want to do it early in the match. April Costa. First look at April. Outstanding. And an opening spare double for the Kinko team. They take an early lead of 22 pins in the third frame. You can see she's playing around that third arrow, Paula.
Yeah, she sure is. And the break here, or the reason she carried that, is because she has a lot of, like the back ends aren't really that strong, but when you hit the ball, when you hit the pocket and you slap the pin out as she did, that just shows you how much power she has behind the shot. And it doesn't take a lot these days with these reactive balls. You really don't have to throw it very hard, have a lot of revolutions on the ball, because the ball takes care of it.
All right, Marcia, I guess it's Marcia, I should say, Kamrowski, our first look at her, and she gets away with kind of a light hit and leaves only the 2-pin, Paula. See a lot of the bowlers switching bowling balls as they shoot the spares, and probably for more control, don't you think?
Right, because they go to a harder surface ball, and the ball react a little straighter.
And our first look at Sherry Johnson. Sherry, a local girl, you might say, being right from the Tampa area. We are just outside of the Tampa area here in the St. Petersburg, Seminole area. Very big sports area in the Florida area. All of, a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans and all that kind of thing around here. So they're really into sports in this area, and bowling being one of the big sports. The 3-6-10. What do you think? Cross lane, huh?
Right. She switched to a ball which is not as porous as the first ball, which should go a lot straighter. Oh, but bad break. She could have carried that, but that's spare. It's going to hurt.
It doesn't look like she used a lot of the lane on that, Mike. More like she played her strike line. There, look at it.
Pretty direct, maybe too direct.
And bowling anchor Kelli Rapp.
Now she threw that wide, and anything outside of the 10th board or the second arrow is pretty much out of bounds. I know that's a term we use, and it's pretty redundant, but during the World Team Challenge lane condition, this is what you're going to find. You're going to find a challenging condition. I guess that's why they call it the World Team Challenge. I don't know. But you have to be at the top of your game to hit this shot.
Well, you don't get as much help, don't you think? In other words, like if you bowl in a league condition in your home house, generally there's more oil in the middle and it's drier outside, so the ball, give it a little room, it wants to hook back. Right. On the team challenge condition, it seems like there's more oil outside that second arrow than
Right. That was a great shot at the spare. I mean, that should have been her first shot. But, yeah, when we're at home and bowling under house conditions, you get kind of a crown effect where the oil's in the middle and then it tapers down toward the gutters. But here, it's sort of a reverse shot of that, and a lot of these girls have been here before. They know what to expect, and they drill equipment especially for this shot. And I was talking to a couple of guys, and they came into my shop and got balls for this house because they had bowled here last year, and it really helped them a lot. So to know what you're going to is, something that's invaluable.
Well, experience is always a major benefit in any competition, but especially in the World Team Challenge. As we look at Dede Davidson going over to get her spare ball, and she'll go cross lane here at the 4-7-8. Dede, an outstanding player in her own right, the U.S. Open champion in 1993, and she won the Queens in '91. So she's been around a while and a great left-handed talent. And we'll be back with more of our opening match here in the World Team Challenge right after here for the girls in this opening game of our opening match in the Seminole Lanes Brunswick World Team Challenge Ladies Division. Second of 6. Janet Piesinski leaves a solid 10.
Yeah, she threw that well. There's not a lot you can do about that except want to eat that pin, but
What about the ages here, Paula? Isn't it amazing if you look at the American Strike Incorporated team? They're all 19, 20, 21. The oldest player on the team is 25 years old. That's just fantastic. I mean, it's wonderful.
It just shows you what the junior program can do for these bowlers, and a lot of them are students at college who continue bowling before they go WIBC.
The college program around the country has helped the men and the ladies. Don't you feel that you've become better players on, especially in tournament play, with outstanding coaching available for both, as I mentioned, the men and the women? Some of the names that come to mind, of course, like Gordy Vatican, just outstanding coaches, and they've taught these players how to handle pressure. And the way you handle pressure, it always seemed to me, is by having good fundamentals. And most of these players you'll see have very good fundamentals.
I know when I was a kid, I didn't have that luxury of coming up through the ranks of good coaching. I had some people that helped me, but it's so organized now. And as well, in softball and soccer and other sports, women are finally getting the opportunity to have what you guys had all along. And
now let's not get personal.
No, but it's the truth. And in bowling, you can see it helps so much.
Barbara got a big break right there. You notice that? Through the middle of the head pin, left only the 10. She, for a moment there, had the 6, 7, 10. Spare is so important now. She's taking a lot of time here, Paula.
Perfect spare.
So look at the crowd, an outstanding crowd, and you see some of the ladies from the Florida Bowling Association here, and they were a big help to make this thing a success.
I'm sure they've had a lot to do with a lot of these girls here that we'll see today.
Through the nose, leaving only the 3-6. Not a tough spare. Paula, what do you think? She's going to use a lot of the lane on this shot?
Yeah, I think she's going to the other lane. In fact, no, she's going to get another ball. It's going to go straight, a lot straighter. And they're lucky when they break down the splits because with these reactive balls, I mean, the spares you can leave and the splits you can leave, I mean, they're big enough to drive a Fiat through. And I've never seen anything like it before. The other night, I watched a guy on my team, and he left the 6, 7, 10 right in the pocket. I mean, it's your basic fast 8 with the 7 pin. I mean, that would never happen when I, used the ball.
Back in the old days?
Back in the old days.
Still have a very close match here in our first game of this 2-game total pin Baker system match. Only 13 pins separating these two teams as we go into the 7th frame here with Darlene Milton. She's married to a very fine bowler in his own right, Tom Milton.
Yeah, I remember Tom.
Tom here in the audience. We can't see him if we look around because he always hides, but he's here, and I'm sure he was trying to give a little coaching to his team, his wife's teammates, and help them along a little bit this week.
Looks like she's doing some ball repair, possibly taking out a piece of tape. When it gets a little warm, and we women with hormones, sometimes we have to fool around with our tape and our bowling ball.
Oh, what a great shot.
Absolutely great shot. When you consider the pressure that the women are under, and then to be able to make an accurate shot like that, it's perfect.
Well, a lot of it also is when they practice before we go on the air. They get 7 minutes of practice on each lane, so a total of 21 with 3 teams, 21 minutes of practice. But very few of them practice spares. They're all trying to find a way to get strikes. So everything's a guess when you get out there to shoot a spare like that, don't you feel?
I think so. And Nikki just got lucky with the Brooklyn strike.
Anything is good in this situation. As you said, there's a lot of pressure. They only get 2 chances per game to help their team. And whenever you can get this kind of a break, you have to feel pretty good. And it
isn't she cute?
Kind of pumps up.
She's so cute.
Kind of pumps up the rest of the team also. And the bucket.
I think she placed it in the right place, but it looked like it got off her hand a little quickly and didn't get the lift that she needed.
Spares again, so important. She wants to fill this. There's a look at our host, Kevin Krause. He's the proprietor here at Seminole Lanes, along with his father, Jerry. Kevin always been outstanding in Florida circles with bowling. They have about 7 centers throughout this area, and they've been great promoters of the game. And of course, they handle the television part of it very well, but also the tournament play. They do a lot of tournament play, including professional events here.
You can't really say enough about the people that support bowling, like Contour Power Grips and Brunswick and the WIBC, the ABC, because they're the ones that keep it going and make it interesting so that people who have never bowled will try.
All right, a strike to take the lead here in this match, and she threw it really well.
Bummer. That was a great shot, too.
We had 18 ladies teams here, excuse me, Paula, 18 ladies teams. The top 10 went into match play after 6 games of qualifying. And we will show you those top 10 teams in just a moment. And after 6 games of qualifying, these 10 teams bowled, wow, she missed it, 10 2-game Baker system matches with bonus pins involved. Top 3 you see today. And here's a look at some of the other teams finishing 4th, the Bowlers Connection. They were in there all the way until the last few games. And in 5th place, Strikeout Pro Shop. Status Limousine from finished 6th. You're familiar with that team?
Miami, yeah, I know all those girls.
Sherry Johnson. Got to get lucky.
See, and it just shows you that team that you just showed from Miami. Last year, they finished 10th. This year, they finished, what was it, 6th? And then next year, they plan on winning this.
Well, that's the way you have to look at it. Cross lane at the spare. Well done. Only the 6-10. Good cover. And going on with our top 10 finishes in 7th, Crown Lanes from Tampa, Florida, a local team. And Strike Zone finished 8th from Coral Springs, Florida. LBJ Enterprises, number 2 from Jacksonville, Florida. And finishing 10th, NCBA Ladies, St. Petersburg, Florida, another local team. A lot of good competition here this week, and it was Contour Power Grips, our tournament leader, were just outstanding. They really did dominate, as we said in the Open, Paula, and it was just amazing how they could knock them down the way they did, game after game, and it was fun to watch. Here's another look at that last shot, Paula.
Yeah, it went over the second arrow, but she went at an angle toward the right, and once you hit that oil, it's not going to come back.
What do you do on this spare?
Make it.
Play your
No,
strike
it's
shot?
basically, I believe, well, obviously not. I mean, I thought it was your strike shot, but she showed us otherwise.
Got the job done. Kind of tricky there. She feels pretty fortunate. I like her game. She has good fundamentals, don't you feel? Here's another look at that head pin coming off the wall. She does the damage.
A very good pin action here as I was watching them all day today.
Watch how solid she is at the foul line. She really has good fundamentals. Doesn't look playable out there. I wonder why she's staying there.
No, she's going to have to make a move the next game.
Opening game for American Strike Inc. of 166. Kinko, possibility of anywhere from 180 to 190. They're going along a pretty good pace, and this is a pretty good anchor person to have. Left-hander Dede Davidson.
Unfortunately, they usually mess up the left side, but at least Dede's here, you know.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing you're not opinionated about anything.
Am I? She's a class player. We've seen her in many telecasts with the LPBT.
How would you shoot this spare, Paula? The 3 and the 5. A lot of ways to chop this.
Well, personally, I like to shoot it the old way. I like, you know, the 3-board move to the left, but I know a lot of pros shoot straight on. And
I mean, stand right and throw it down the middle, or
that's what they teach now. But when I was bowling, you know, we always moved left on those spares.
And use your strike line and basically let the ball hook across the lane.
Right.
Well, that creates more angle. It's probably easier to chop it that way. And I think the reason a lot of players move to the right now is they can go straighter at the spare and cut down on the chop angle. Everybody to their own, wherever you feel most comfortable, obviously. Possible 182 here with a strike on the fill ball for Dede Davidson and her Kinko Limited Contour Power Grips team. And finishes with 181 to 166, a 15-pin lead in the opening game of this 2-game match. And we'll be back with that second game right after this short break. Opening match between Kinko Limited, Contour Power Grips team, and American Strike Incorporated. And leading off for Kinko is Barbara Batt. They have a 15-pin lead at this point after the first game of this 2-game total pins match. Filling frames is the key, Paula, and we were talking about that, and looks like Kinko's done a pretty good job.
Yes, they've only had one open in the opening game.
Both teams struggling trying to find a strike line, but they are filling frames. American Strike had a few opens, a couple of easy spares that they shouldn't have had possibly, 2 one-pin spares that they missed. But Kinkle is making it work for him by filling frames. And we'll take a look here at Janet Piesinski as she gets ready to start things off for American Strike Incorporated. And they need to get something going, Paula, if they're going to get back in this match. They need to start soon.
Yes, they do, Earl, and they're throwing it pretty hard, but I don't know why they're throwing it that way. And that was a nice shot. That was nice and relaxed and smooth, and you notice it didn't loft far out there, so the ball got into an earlier roll. It's right down the third arrow. Good speed. Held the pocket. All the pins in the pit.
Good end over and roll. I like that. Darlene Milton. Oh boy, she got a lot of that one, huh?
A lot of power on that ball.
So far, the only double in this match has been put together by Darlene Milton and the girl that follows her in the lineup for Kinkle, April Costa. So Darlene put one up there. Maybe April can do it again. In the meantime, bowling in the second frame for American Strike, Laurie Ross. Looked like a pretty good shot, Paula.
It looked like a good shot, and they're probably playing off of each other now. You know, they've settled down after the first game. The nerves are a little bit less jittery, and I think that, you know, what's good about team bowling is you can talk to each other, and you can line each other up, and then you watch the other team, how they played the lane that you're going to go on next. And I think usually, I don't know about the statistics, but it seems like the second game would score higher than the first game.
That makes sense to me. They'd be a little more relaxed, as you said, and a little more knowledgeable about what's on the surface out there, where they can play and where they can't. It looks like there is an out of bounds, as you mentioned, anywhere from the second arrow out. The ball does. You don't want to be out there. And another look at April Costa as she tries to get that double like they did in that opening game. Her and Darlene. That's not going to make it. Tough spare.
Yeah, and she's been struggling. She comes from a bowling family. Sam Costa's her father, and he's been a bowler for many, many years. And so she has the knowledge. She won many Queens tournaments, which is the equivalent of like a regional. And she has the ability. There's no question about it. It's just a matter of time before she gets lined up.
Okay, she wants to get it on the left side of the head pin. She does. Good cover.
Crossing over doesn't seem to be the problem because there's a lot less oil in the middle, but you have to maintain the speed on the first ball so it doesn't get away from you.
Okay, Nikki Milligan, a massage therapist. Pretty good-looking young lady, only 25 years old. There's the crossover we're talking about, Paula.
Exactly.
Another tough spare.
Yes, it is.
The 3-9, and she'll want to get both of these pins with the ball, I think. Don't she try to hook it into it?
How'd you like a massage by her?
No thanks.
I won't tell.
All right, both pins with the ball here. Just off her strike line a little bit. Outstanding. And we'll be back for the more of this opening match right after this. Marcia Kamrowski coming through for the American Strike Incorporated team with a big strike right there, and they needed that to get back into this match. And meanwhile, Sherry Johnson for Kinkle made a mistake. She chopped the 3-pin off the 3-6-10 for their open, and this makes a match out of it. Only 2 pins separating these two teams in this 2-game total pin match. Our opening match, the winner to go on to beat the Contour Power Grips team for the championship. Oh, that looks more like Dede Davidson, huh?
Sure does. A lot of power there. Looks like she might have moved a little inside and thrown a little wider to the left, but I don't think you can do that on the right side. It doesn't appear that shot is available on the right side.
All right, the 2 anchor bowlers fighting it out here a little bit, and as we know so many times, matches do come down to the anchor bowlers. I like her game. She's so strong at the foul line. She really gets the ball out over the foul line, stays down, and chases it with her hand.
And
Powerful
stays
release.
with it, and stays, you know, so the ball planes out at the bottom and goes a lot longer.
What do you mean by planing out, Paula? What exactly does that mean?
Well, it flattens out at the bottom of the swing so that instead of hitting up on the ball, you're still going through it, and the ball flattens out at the bottom, so you don't lose a lot of roll. Sometimes if you loft it too far, you lose the roll on the ball.
So it creates more power is what you're saying at the bottom.
Right.
That's our lead change there. There's an 8 pins difference now in this match as American Strike has come to take over the lead after being down by 15 pins after the first game. An opening match is a good one. It's close, and they're starting to get lined up and throw some strikes for us. Kinko's been able to fill frames. They've only had 2 opens, and unfortunately they were by the same lady. Sherry Johnson chopping that same spare twice, the 3-6-10. And
she'll be happy you noticed that.
well, American Strike, a chance to extend their lead. Be up by 18 pins with a strike here. And this is Janet Piezinski. She seems to be lined up on this lane. She struck here in the first frame. Looked like she kind of dropped that one a little bit, didn't it?
Either dropped it and it slowed her speed down probably because she lost it. But she got a great break.
Here's a look at Ann Taylor, who's the general manager at Sunshine Lanes, which is another part of the number of bowling centers that the folks here own, and she had the qualifying for the ladies round over there. They bowled 6 qualifying games over there on Saturday, came over here for match play at Seminole Lanes with the men, and it's been an exciting day here at Seminole Lanes. And we'll be back with the conclusion of this opening match right after this. Things have changed dramatically since the opening game. American Strike was 15 down. They're plus 18 now. And while we were away, Laurie Ross for American Strike had a spare. Darlene Milton left the 2-8 and missed it. And this is April Costa for Kinko. Boy, she looks good, huh?
Yeah, and they really needed that one.
Running out of frames here for the Kinko team. And there's another look at April.
Like she had a lot more speed on the ball, and it was a lot deeper inside. Not that she didn't mean to play it like that before when she went wide with those shots, but the speed was good and it held the line.
Well, here again we have a tough spare here for American Strike, and here the 3-9-10. Paula, how do you play this?
Well, you have to hit it between the 3 and the 10, but you have to hit it enough directly on the 3 pin to carry the 9 behind it.
With the ball, or?
Oh yeah, with the ball, pretty good.
All right. Well, she didn't quite do it. Now this match is going to come down again to the anchor people, it looks like, and if that happens, we've got 2 of the best in Dede Davidson and Kelli Rapp, so it should be exciting. Whoever can load it up in the 9th frame could be a big difference here. Talk about these shoes, Paul. Have you ever seen high-top bowling shoes before?
Yeah, I've used high tops for a long time. A couple reasons.
What do they do for you? Those are Lynn's, by the way. Lynn's high-top shoes.
Well, I played basketball, and I have weak ankles, and they help a lot with the footwork. And also, if you have a tendency to roll the ball close to your ankle, sometimes you know you might hit it once in a while, so it's good protection. Good protection. So you're wearing for defense, huh? All right, we're coming down into the really nitty-gritty. Only 7 pins separating these 2 teams, and this is the team in the lead, American Striking. Excuse me, Kinko's in the lead now. So we had another lead change. The double by Kinko put him in the lead, and now it's down to the anchor people. Here we go. Dede Davidson, first to finish for Kinko. If she throws it anything like that last ball where she blew the rack, it'll be in great shape. Taking lots of time here. Kind of a break there, Paula, don't you think? Got away with something. A big break. She could have had company on that one with the 7 pin, but I didn't think she threw it that poorly. Well, she kind of trusted it. Maybe she didn't want it to go high in the head pin. She didn't want to take a chance on the big split or anything, knowing that if she marks, the anchor person for the other team, Kelli Rapp, will need a strike to win this match. A mark and good count would force Kelli Rapp to strike.
And it's not that I'm a mathematician, folks. I've just got the best statistician in the world sitting next to me, Peter Hagan. He's figuring all this stuff out for us, so keeps me updated and tells me exactly where we're at all times. Right, Peter? Right. Attaboy. All right, good count is a necessary thing right here. Dede wants to get as many as she can because it can come down to one ball. Very likely will. Wonder what's going through Kelli Rapp's mind right now, Paula.
She's got to be a little tense there, I would think.
Well, the count. 178 for that game for Kinko, along with her 181 opening game, gives them a total of 359. So it looks to me like it's going to come down to needing a strike for Kelli Rapp and then any kind of decent count to win this match. This is the shot of the day right here for Kelli Rapp. Oh, she threw it well. Oh boy, and they were falling like dominoes, and looking down at the Kinko team. They know they've won, but they are a little nervous watching those pins fall. So the winner of our opening match will be Kinko, and they will be taking on the Contour Power Grips in the championship match, and that should be a great one. A lot of good things happened all throughout the week for this team, the American Strike Incorporated team. Remember, they're a very young ball club. The oldest player in the team, 25. The youngest, they have two 19-year-olds, so we can expect to see more of them in the future.
That's true, and they came back from the first game and made it a match. So they have nothing to be ashamed of. They did real well this week.
Well, you can see the disappointment on their faces, but as we mentioned, when you're young, you seem to feel that disappointment a little more. And but they will learn a lot from us. They'll be back. We will be back with Around the Bowling World right after this short break for these.
The high roller tournaments at the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas. Women in the sport of bowling were among those honored at the 17th Annual Women's Sports Foundation Salute to Women's Sports. The awards banquet was recently held in New York City. Lucy Giovinco was nominated for the WSF Team Sportswoman of the Year Award. Tammy Turner was nominated for the WSF Individual Sportswoman of the Year Award. Turner and her exact duplication squad finished third in Baltimore's Brunswick World Team Challenge Women's Division qualifier back in June. The awards keep adding up for Lucy Giovinco, as she was also selected as the United States Olympic Committee's 1996 Female Bowling Athlete of the Year. The Norcross, Georgia resident won the 1996 United States Women's National Amateur Bowling Championship, as she made Team USA for the 5th time in her career. Giovinco's Team USA squad was honored as the USOC's Bowling Team of the Year. The ladies' national amateur team finished second in last season's Brunswick World Team Challenge Women's Division Grand Championships in the New Orleans, Louisiana area. On the other side of the locker room, Chris Barnes of Wichita, Kansas has been named the USOC's 1996 Male Bowling Athlete of the Year. Team USA's transition from retiring head coach Fred Borden to new head man Palmer Fahlgren continues to run smoothly. Fahlgren has selected Susie Reichley, Pat Costello, and Mike Listowski as his Team USA assistant coaches. Reichley hails from Dallas, Texas, and won the 1969 Alberta Crow Star of Tomorrow and was a member of the Bowler's Journal 1970 All-America team. Costello is the owner of numerous pro titles and was inducted into the Women's International Bowling Congress Hall of Fame in 1986. Mike Listowski resides in Aberdeen, Maryland, and burst onto the national bowling landscape when he won the 1983 American Bowling Congress Masters Tournament. The coaching staff will visit the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs this month to begin work with 1997 Team USA. Around the Bowling World has been brought to you by the High Roller Tournaments. Call 800-257-6179 for information on how to enter. The Brunswick World Team Challenge from Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida returns with our championship match after these messages.
Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida for our championship match between Kinko Limited Contour Power Grips, starting this match against the tournament leaders, the Contour Power Grips team out of Detroit, Michigan, and leading off in this championship match, Barbara Batt for Kinko, and they really had an up-and-down match in that opening one, didn't they, Paula? It just seemed like nobody knew who was going to happen or who's going to win that one.
Very exciting match. The scores weren't that high, but they were, back and forth.
Well, this Contour Power Grips team has really dominated this tournament all throughout the qualifying round too, but they might have their hands full here with Kinko, huh?
It could be. They're pumped up, and they know what it's like to win, and they've been in there when they've needed it.
This is a good start. The wall shot, the last pin out, the 8 pin.
She's a good leadoff bowler.
Good reaction there, too. She's really into this. First look at the leadoff player for the Contour Power Grips team, Lisa Bishop. A lot of determination in that face. What a difference. One player hits light, carries, the other player through the middle head pin, and the big 5. Paula, you've picked this up before?
I've picked it up, I think, a couple of times. It's nasty. It's, but I don't think it's that far from a strike, in my personal opinion. You may, want to add to this, but I think the big 4 and the Greek church are close to strikes. It's just a matter of speed.
Well, you're not going to line up off that. All right. Remember, if anyone should bowl a 240 game or a 450 series, there's a $500 bonus brought to us by the High Roller people in Las Vegas. The high score bonus is brought to you by the High Roller Tournament Series, and they have a couple of really big events coming up later on in the month of January. And speaking of big events coming up in January, Paula.
Well, we have the WIBC, the 1977 tournament will be in Reno for the first time in the stadium. So if anyone would like to enter, the deadline is Friday, January the 10th. So I would encourage anyone who has not seen the stadium in Reno. It is awesome. I mean, I had goosebumps when I saw that. I could not believe it.
Must have been cold in there. All right. Here's a look at Timmy McCorvey, and they needed that right there. They were already down in this match. Here's a look at the lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips. Lisa Bishop, Timmy McCorvey, Jeannie Gebbia, and of course Aleta Sill and Marianne DiRupo finish it up for the Contour Power Grips team. And that is an outstandingly talented team. The starting lineup's brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. Boy, they're out to do something here now. They got it going really well. And it seems like April has been the one that got it going for them every time. She's been involved in all their doubles. And this is the third double for the Kinko team, and she's been involved in all 3 of them. Well, we've got a match here, Paula, huh? What do you think? Looking strong. Both teams looking strong. We'll be back with more of this opening match for the championship one here at Seminole Lanes in sunny Florida. And boy, I'll tell you what, it's really heating up inside just like it is outside. Sherry Johnson. This team is yet to miss. Well, this is the opening miss, and what a way to do it. The washout. The 1-2-10. Paula, what do you do on this one?
Well, you have to move either one way or the other for sure, and you have to fit the ball between the 1 and the 2 so that the 1 goes over and hits the 10. I've seen it made various ways, but that is the proper way to make it.
Like that?
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Well, what a turnaround in the mental outlook of the team when something like this happens. As you know, to look at that shot, Paula. Off the wall, just exactly the way you'd like to play it. 19 pin difference here in the opening match. Contour Power Grips down by 19. A chance to get some of that back here with Hall of Fame bowler, soon to be, if not, she is many Hall of Fames, I'm sure. Of course, the WIBC, Aleta Sill. Just about every Hall of Fame in the world time she's done, I think.
They do bowl together in Detroit, and so they're very familiar with each other's games, and when you're comfortable with each other, I think it makes a big difference.
For some reason, I have a feeling that this young lady, Dede Davidson, is going to be a major factor in this championship match. I think she's a little more relaxed. She looked like her timing was improving as she got on and on into that opening match. Let's see what she can do in this first shot. Well, she made a good shot, Paula, but didn't get the break.
Made a great shot, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if there's a little inside rivalry going on between Dede and Aleta, and since they bowl on the LPBT tour together, they're continuously competing against each other, and there might be a little more hungry factor here.
All right, spare is important, as we know, especially in this Baker system, and that's good cover. Dede did struggle a little bit with her spare shooting during the match play, and so she's, I think that's what the smile was all about. Here's some looks at the high games this week. The team high games, contour power grips in 1161, which is fantastic scoring. Vandegrift, 267, outstanding individual game. Lots of good scores this week, and on difficult lane conditions. As we know, Paula, the contour power grips team was outstanding all week, but they had to do it on some tough lane conditions because the World Team Challenge always is what you just said a little while ago, a challenge.
It is, and being that the women competed in two different houses, it just shows the caliber of bowlers. You know, contour power grips.
Well, they got to make it tougher for them than they do the men, because otherwise they make the men look bad. So.
Oh, is that how it?
Sure. This is Marianne DiRupo, the anchor bowler for the contour power grips team, and not a very good beginning for Marianne. A 3-6-10, and she missed it.
No, very unlike her to chop the spare, especially at the beginning. She's very aggressive bowler and athlete, all-around athlete.
All right, Kinko plus 25 at this point, and bowling a clean game. Started with 3 strikes in a row, back-to-back spares, and now we start the second time through the lineup in this opening game of a 2-game match for the championship. Things are going their way. They're making good shots, and they're taking advantage of a couple of good breaks. Another look at that, Paula.
Okay, she lofted it out probably 4 or 5 feet over the lane, and I really feel that it's a necessity these days with the reactive resin balls to get good speed on the ball, and she certainly did that.
Look at the determination here, huh? She's ready. And only the 4-pin.
Oh, that was a good shot. Held line real well.
Well, Lisa always seems to keep the ball in play, and she's always been an outstanding spare shooter. And look, she's got her Cleary out, huh? Another look at that shot, Paula. She's playing pretty much the same line that the successful players have been playing around that third arrow, huh?
But she laid it down. She laid it down early, and yet it's still held. So she knows about how to release the ball.
And good cover, and we'll be back with the end of this first game of a 2-game match in a moment. Again, this is our opening game of a 2-game match for the championship here at Seminole Lanes, the Brunswick World Team Challenge, second qualifying tournament of 6. And all the winners go on to the Grand Championships. And a site yet to be determined sometime in August, and it should be exciting, as it always is. And what a game Kinko has going. They started with 3 in a row, 2 spares, came back with 2 more strikes, and they have a chance, a very good chance, to get involved with the high score bonus, which is brought to you by the High Roller Tournament Series. And, you know, that's $500 bonus for a 240 game or more. And, of course, if you bowl a series, a 2-game series of 450 or over, you receive another $500 bonus for the team. So that always in the back of the mind, but right now I'm sure they're thinking about winning the tournament, Paula. And
the advantage to Kinko here is that they've been on that lane before because they bowled the prior match, so they know a little bit about the tendencies of the lane, which is really important.
Well, not only that, but maybe they're more comfortable in front of the cameras at this point also. More stats we see here. The high series, individual series, 3 games. Timmy McCorvey, 673 and outstanding, and Sherry Johnson, 671. And you see Marianne DiRupo have a good set. Well, April, a little high in the head pin. She's been the one that's been kind of like a catalyst for the team, and now a tough spare. And again, high averages. This are 6-game scores now. They averaged, Timmy McCorvey averaged 215.5 for the 6 games. Lisa Wagner, a very familiar name there. And of course, again, Marianne DiRupo and Carolyn Trump. Cross lane here, Paula, for the spare. Good cover, huh?
Good cover.
Qualifying averages, these are the Baker scores. Contour Power Grips team led, they averaged 200.4, and in a regular qualifying round, and in the Baker 196.7, which is very good in the Baker system. And here you see their match play records. Contour Power led from the beginning, right on through to this point. And remember, this is a 2-game match. A lot can happen. We've seen it so many times in the past. It's not that Contour Power is bowling that poorly. It's just that right now, the Kinko Contour Power Grips team has really got it going well.
Well, you know, when you come out here and you see who these girls are, it's a little bit intimidating to bowl them like during match play or whatever. Oh, she flagged that one. Very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, well, Jeannie's an actually very good spare shooter. All these players are, or they wouldn't be here. And I don't know what happened here, but she got it in that out of bounds that you talked about, Paula, and it just never came back.
Never came back. But when you see, you know, that you're going up against an Aleta Sill or a Marianne DiRupo, that can be very intimidating. So I'm not surprised that they led most of the way. But now, you know, Kinko had that first match under their belt, so they're getting, as you said, more comfortable and saying, you know, hey, maybe we can beat these guys.
Well, especially if they're going to miss 5 pins.
Yeah.
There you go. Contour Power Grips, as we mentioned, the team out of Detroit has been #1 from the beginning. Kinko's been #2, so these teams have been 1-2. Kinko looks like they are going to really put some pressure on this opening match until that open. Now, what's going on here, Paula?
Well, I guess it's just, you know, you could have a little bit of a letdown because they had that big lead. Then she missed the 5-pin on this lane, and so now they're back in the game. You know, when you have Aleta coming up and Marianne coming up, they punch out and they're right back in it.
Possibility of 198 for Contour Powers if they can get the strikes that we mentioned. There's one of them. Kinko right now going at a 210 pace. What was at one point a 45-pin lead if both teams were to strike out, if we could project that, or if Contour Power were to strike out and Kinko just marked, would only be a 10 or 15-pin lead, so it would really be a turnaround. Dede's the one that needs to get this thing back on pace for Kinko Contour Power Grips. That's got no chance. The washout. Now what?
Well, now it's the momentum's changed for sure. If she misses this,
she hooks the ball a lot normally, right,
yes,
Paula?
she does.
Now, a person that hooks the ball a lot, don't you feel this is a more difficult spare than it would be for someone that goes fairly straight?
Yes. And there's also that possibility of hitting it perfectly and wrapping around the 7-pin as well.
Boy, what a finish to a great game. They had it really going there. They had a turkey, a double. They were clean through 8 frames. And now all of a sudden, if Contour Power, Marianne DiRupo, if she can strike out in the 10th frame, we have an even match.
And she threw 2 really sorry shots the last time she was up. So now, I mean, this is going to bring out what's inside of this girl, I think.
Been there before, done it before.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, huh?
Kind of like that.
Kind of like that, yeah. She's got tremendous talent. If you were to copy a style or pick out an individual, as you mentioned earlier, this is a great athlete. If you were to pick out a style, would you think that this would be one that would be worth emulating right here?
I think that for a right-hander, yes, I'd say Marianne DiRupo and probably Leanne Barrett, somebody like Nikki Giannoulias in her prime. Yes, definitely. They get the ball nice and long, and they seem to be able to change hand positions, which is something a lot of women cannot do.
Look at here.
Oh,
how's
great
things
connection.
going, huh? Gotta like it. Now, I'll tell you what a game this is. And we take another look at that shot. Which pin is this that's going to kick out that 4-pin?
One on the right.
And watch Marianne's eyes. There you go. Gotta like that one. And off the bench to meet her. Half the team jumped up in the air that time.
Okay, so who has the advantage going into this match?
Well, in my opinion, it's going to be Contour Power going into the second game because they have the momentum mentally, the way things are going for them. And if that ball right there had been the first ball in the 10th, it would have been completely different. But since they did carry the first 2 strikes, only a 1-pin difference in this, our opening game of the championship match. And we'll be back for that second game right after this. Of our 2-game match for the championship here at Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida, and leading things off for the Contour Power Grips team is Lisa Bishop. And we've got us a match going here, folks. Only one pin separating these two teams after the first game. Total pins to determine the champion.
And not a bad leadoff shot, considering the position that they're in, that every single shot is going to make a difference.
Lisa, a good example of what quality coaching can do for your game. She's a former member of Team USA, and we all know people like Freddie Borden who are involved in that have done a wonderful job.
And former PBA member Palmer Fahlgren is also coaching that team this year.
He's now the head coach now. He's got a promotion. Freddie has decided to step down, Freddie Borden, and Palmer Fahlgren, who has been one of his assistants over a number of years, has stepped in to take over the reins. Barbara Batt, get things started for Kinkle. Two good opening shots, one by each team, and this is starting to get a little sweaty palm time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I personally haven't been in a position like this bowling since before the Dead Sea got sick. But these girls, I mean, they're used to this. So, I mean, they thrive on this kind of competition.
I see. Before the Dead Sea got sick.
Yeah, but so I wouldn't even know, I can't even imagine what they're going through. You would know.
No, it's been a long time for me too, Paula. Not quite that long, but. And here's a look at Pearl Keller, who is a WIBC National Director and has a lot to do with making good things happen for the World Team Challenge, the ladies division.
And also in the WIBC, I wanted to mention that the Queens Tournament, all you have to do to enter the Queens Tournament is to average a 170, and it's open. There's still spots available, and that runs from May the 13th through May the 17th. So contact your local association if anybody would like to get in. It's a great experience.
All right, Timmy McCorvey, and she has left the washout here. The 1, 2, 8, 10. Tough spare, didn't quite make it. Upcoming events for the ladies. Remember, this is our second of 6th, and in January, the 18th and 19th at Showboat Lanes, and there are some entry spots available there. And of course, February 8th and 9th at Don Carter Southwest Lanes in Fort Worth, Texas. In February, on the 22nd and 23rd, Expo Lanes in Indianapolis, Indiana, and June 28th and 29th at Brunswick Perry Hall Lanes in Baltimore, Maryland. Come on, ladies, we need you out here. This is the most fun you can have in bowling right here, the World Team Challenge, and there are spots available in all those tournaments I mentioned. So come on out and enjoy the fun. And here's how you can enter the Brunswick World Team Challenge. The hotline, 414-423-3387. Get all the entry information you need. You can call that number. They'll be happy to help you out. At the 7-pin, Paula. No problem there, huh?
No, and that's what they need to do is just, keep marking.
Contour seems to be stubbing their toe here, having some problems filling frames. And they did that last game, the opening game of this 2-game match. But they came on at the end when their two superstars, you might say, Aleta and Marianne, got it going for them in the 9th and 10th. But you can't depend on that all the time, can you?
No, you can't.
The 4-6-7. Is there any way to pick this up, Paula? What do you think?
Well, if you don't need the count, I like to go across at the 6-pin and try to slide it into the 7 and the 4.
For 7 out, right?
No, not for 7. No, but I mean, if I don't need the pin count, that's what I do. Because I've made it once like that, and
so you just want to show off more than anything.
Well, it's kind of fun.
Most bowlers, don't you think, especially the big, strong guys, the men, try to throw it real hard and bounce it out of the pit.
Yes, they do. Or you can slide it over.
Here's a lady that's really been an inspiration for her team, April Costa. She's seems to have been right there when they needed her the most, and they need her now. Look at here. Got that Brunswick pin to spin around and fall down. Those brand new Brunswick pins with the great bottoms. You see the team is really involved here, Paula.
I don't know if they can show this shot again, but as soon as she let it go, it was high. You just rolled her wrist over.
Maybe got a little quick with the feet, huh?
Maybe so. Something had to cause it.
What a great smile. That's 4 strikes for her today, and this is her 4th competition. So she's done really well for her team. She's been one of the team leaders, you might say, I guess. Aleta Sill leaving the 6-pin.
And that was also a good shot. It doesn't seem like the left side, you have to throw it that hard. It looks like a nice shot over there.
Well, you being a left-hander, a Hall of Fame left-hander, you ought to be able to tell us what's going on over there, especially for the ladies. Well, we have a great match going on here. Contour Power, as I mentioned, seems to be shooting themselves in the foot, but Kinko has been strong all day. They've just never, ever been out of the match, you might say. They had a tremendous lead in their opening game of this match and let it get away. Contour Power came back, almost tied it up.
This could put the hammer down right there.
Well, that's a big break there, don't you think? It's getting the 9 count instead of the 7 count for an easier spare.
Mm-hmm. Well, if she packed that shot, I mean, that would have given them a substantial lead in this game. And maybe she's just not used to this pressure. That's a possibility. She makes her spare, so that's what they need.
Well, as we've talked about, each game you can only help your team twice. And another way to look at it, you can only really get in trouble twice a game. So you want to get it and get it as good as you can. Fill those frames, spares, strikes, either one. No opens. Here's the lady that was kind of a hero in the opening game, you might say, getting that 2 strikes in the 10th.
She better get us started now.
She looked like she was a little faster with her feet maybe at that time. And
very tentative shot for the situation that they're in. She really needed to get it going at that point, and then she leaves a tough spare like this.
Yeah, the 3-6, 9-10. And again, you mentioned earlier, you want to get the ball between the 3-6. Drive it through to the 9, right?
Right.
Cross lane here for Marianne DiRupo. Boy, I thought she had it, didn't you?
I thought she had it. It didn't quite make the turn that she needed to carry out the 9-pin.
Well, here's a look at somebody you know pretty well. Who's that guy?
Oh, yeah, I know him. Yeah, Don. Yeah, that's it.
Don Carter, the Hall of Famer, the great bowler. In fact, he was named bowler of the half century, wasn't he?
He should have been if he wasn't. I don't know. I heard somebody else got it, but I don't think they. There must have been some fooling around in the ballot.
All right. We'll be back with the conclusion of our championship match. 41-pin lead right now for Kinko. And we're back, and we're going. And here comes the young lady that wants to get it started, Lisa Bishop, for Contour Power Grips, and they do need to get it going. 41-pin deficit at this point. It's the championship match. 2 games total. And the bucket. That's really not the way you get it going. And Marianne DiRupo, you can see the tentative, the kind of nervous look right there, hoping something good will happen. What she would like to do is have a chance in the 10th frame, because she is that kind of a player. If they can get it down to Aleta Sill and Marianne DiRupo with a chance, they could come through for them. But of course, there's also Sherry Johnson and Dede Davidson on the other side for Kinko, and they've been outstanding. If you look at the 2 superstars of the Contour Power Grips team.
These girls, they have to put them in the position where they can perform in the 10th and still have a chance to win.
And they're running out of frames, Paula.
Yes, they are. Do you see some of these averages these girls have? It's amazing. I think the lowest average is 215 on either team.
Well, they're outstanding bowlers, and a lot of it might be well, not all of it, but some of it is the bowling balls. Obviously, the reactive resin bowling balls do give you a little more hit and carry. With a strike here, they could really put some hurt on Contour. 51-pin lead with a strike. 51-pin lead with 4 frames to play, and Contour, it's right there. They know exactly that they need everything they can get now. No chances for mistakes, no margin for error. As you see, the trip 4 does the job, gets the double. Oh boy.
She's playing a lot deeper than anyone else is on either team, and just didn't get enough fingers to get it back.
How do you cover this spare, Paula? This is not an easy one.
No, you should go for the Brooklyn shot, the one between the 1-2, and the ball should take out the rest of the pins. However, you can make it going for the strike, but Oh, she just made it.
Like that.
Oh, yeah,
All
like
right.
that.
Well, they could not afford that miss. They've come down to the fact now where they have 3 frames to play, and it's. I think Contour is going to need to strike out. That's just my opinion, but I think they need all strikes, and they got to hope for some help here from Kinko, who has 4 frames to play, and of course, who knows? Anything can happen in the World Team Challenge, and usually does.
That was high. As soon as she let it go, it looked like it got stuck in her. Her thumb got stuck in the ball.
Now, Darlene Milton, a good spare shooter, she switches bowling balls, and she'll stand left, use a lot of the lane, right, Paula? Cross lane here.
What do you think happened on the shot like that? You know, could it be nerves at the beginning? You know,
I wonder if the lanes are changing a little bit, and maybe because the oil's moving around a little bit, the girls are struggling, trying to find a way just to keep it in play. You know, let me hit the head pin and hope it's on one side or the other, get a break, because, hey, a spare or a strike, any way you can get it right now looks great. It's not, there's no, you don't get any extra points for style. A 54-pin lead at this point for the Kinko team, and Contour Power is running out of frames. There's a strike, it's a starter.
You gotta have it. Doesn't matter how. You know, these days there's so many more variables in the game. Not only the new technology with the bowling balls, but now you have the oil moving around because of the bowling balls, and the break points are different. When we bowled, or when I bowled, you know, you have a certain break point and it pretty much stayed consistent, but now the break points change.
Well, we'll take a look at what they're bowling for. Of course, the Brunswick bowling balls, which is everybody's first choice. The championship rings, the keepsake rings, and of course the Lynn shoes, which are my favorites. And the prize money and the trip to the Grand Championships, the finals, the chance to be the World Team Challenge champions. The Brunswick World Team Challenge. What a title that would have be to have, huh, Paula?
Yes.
Have you ever bowled in one of these tournaments?
Yes, I have.
How'd you do?
Had a lot of fun. Not well.
Not well, but you had a good time.
I had a blast. Because I bowl with the guys, you know. When you bowl with the guys, you know, hey, they slap you here and they slap you there. It was great. Great. Absolutely fun.
Well, that was kind of a give-up shot. I think that without the strike there by Aleta, and she made a great shot, but without the strike, they really feel that the match is over, and Kinko right now is going to kind of finish it out. They are the winners here at Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida. And after dominating the tournament, the Contour Power Grips team has succumbed to the Kinko Contour Power Grips team, who came from second place to go on to win the championship. Now we're finishing out here the 9th frame. Running out of frames for both teams, but it was an outstanding week for bowling in general, of course, for the World Team Challenge.
It was. And a lot of people here picked Contour Power Grips to win.
Well, I guess I kind of had to. When you dominate the way they did, led from the opening game of qualifying right on through the qualifying rounds and through the match play to get to this point. A lot of experience, a lot of great players out there, and just wasn't to be, I guess, today for Contour Power. Marianne DiRupo leaves a solid 10-pin. And as a professional and with a lot of pride, she'll give it her best shot, pick it up, and throw another ball, I'm sure. And here's how you would enter if you would like to be part of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. In free information at the hotline, 414-423-3387. They'll be glad to give you all the information, help you get started, get your entry in as soon as possible. They do fill up. Last shot of the week for Marianne DiRupo, and she's playing right outside the fourth arrow. Plenty of power there.
I think she moved the last couple of shots. But it was just a little bit too late.
Little bit too late. A total of 340 for the 2 games for the Contour Power Grips team. You see the smile from Dede Davidson there. She knows that they're a winner, and this is just academic, really.
Sort of like David and Goliath happening here.
Well, that happens. Team challenge.
Especially Baker system.
The Baker system. It's most of our matches do come down to the 10th frame. They're very close, and the anchor people get out there and fight tooth and nail. But this particular one got away, and Kinko was more relaxed, it seemed, in front of the cameras. That opening match, the one who gets by that opening match seems to have some kind of a slight advantage just because they're more relaxed.
Right. And they know the lanes.
They know the lanes.
A little bit, yeah.
Make their adjustments as the lanes change, and there you see a little bit of a celebration there by Dede, a little dance coming off the approach.
Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to say it was great working with you.
It was fun,
Really
Paula.
enjoyed it.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for a good job. Our next stop in Las Vegas in just a couple of weeks, and you'll be back for that, right?
Yes. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to having you. And our champions with a total of 405, a 65-pin win for the Kinko Contour Power Grips team over the tournament leaders, Contour Power Grips. You see the good sportsmanship, the handshakes. We'll be back to talk with our tournament winners, the Kinko Contour Power Grips team, in just a moment.
The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros use Contour Power Grips. You should too. By Keepsake, designer and manufacturer of championship ring awards. By Bud Light, proud sponsors of bowling. Make it a Bud Light. And by the Women's International Bowling Congress and the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies.
And here are our winners, ladies and gentlemen. Kinko Incorporated, or Limited, I should say, Contour Power Grips. Barbara, it was quite a week all week for you folks. You qualified second, you stayed second throughout, and you knocked off a very strong team.
Yes, we did. They were a great team. We were pleased to win. American Strike, getting past American Strike was something else, but Contour is a great team, and we're glad to be here.
Well, you have a pretty fair team here yourself, and it looks like you guys did outstandingly well as far as I'm concerned all week long, being in second place and chasing Contour Power, but you, as you mentioned, knocked off a good team to begin with. And with me is Elaine Hagan, who is the first vice president of the Women's International Bowling Congress and also president of Bowling USA. And Elaine, you have a presentation to make.
I certainly do. First of all, may I add my congratulations for a spectacular win. And on behalf of the Women's International Bowling Congress, may I present you with your award.
Thank you very much.
Also, I want to say we're looking forward to seeing you at the Grand Championships in summer.
We'll be there.
And Elaine, you wanted to mention a little bit about the championships, the WIBC championships.
Yes, I'd like to take this opportunity to tell our viewers and also the audience here that next Friday is the closing of our championship tournament in Reno, Nevada. And
for entries,
for entries, and that's the 10th, and we're going to have a blockbuster tournament there. We've got over almost 17,000 teams, so please, if you haven't sent in your entry, send it in. We've got room for at the WIBC Queens also.
Wonderful, Elaine, and that'll be it from Seminole Lanes. Thank you for being with us, folks. The next Brunswick World Team Challenge telecast is an open division event from right here at Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida. Check your regional sport network listings for dates and times. For Paula Carter, this is Earl Anthony. So long from Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida. This has been an ABC Eagle Productions telecast.